So what do I do as a vicar? I'm going to answer some questions. Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Red Dan. I'm a vicar in the Church of England. Today I'm going to answer questions about what I do in my job. So this comes from every time I go to a new school, I do the first assembly by getting to know the kids and getting them to know me. And so I let them ask any question about what I do, and the questions are so amazing. They're so great, and I always get a lot of questions about what I do in my job. So I thought I'd do this segment and ask if you want any questions that you would like to know about what I do on a daily basis, or why I do this. And just as a heads up before I start, I've got two great channels that started. Fulfilling Life, which is a daily devotional. You can sign up and subscribe to that and get a video every day that encourages us in our Christian lives, and Revved Up, where it's sermons from the saddle, sermons straight from the heart as I'm riding around the beautiful country lanes in England. So let's get into some of the questions I get asked. So it's a funny one that they ask why I wear this collar, and I always say to them, if I'm walking down the street and I look like this, I got this on, you know what I do, right? And then I take this off and I'll pop undone the button, and I say, so who am I now? And they say, well, we don't know, you're just like somebody else. I said, yes. So you got to understand, and this, by the way, is just a piece of plastic. I did take this out in one school, and they said to me, fake. A kid yelled out, fake. I think he thought it was all the way around, or I don't know, even permanent. So it's a uniform, people will see, like anyone else wears a uniform. You see a police officer, it's a police officer, someone working a store with the logo on. And so really, essentially, is what we wear, so people can identify us for what we do, and they do. So I love this question. Why did I become a vicar, a priest? And again, it comes down to calling, that God called me to do this. He said, Dan, I want you to become a priest. It was just a bit of a shock, because actually I first felt called 6 months after I became a Christian. And I sat in a computer one day, I was looking at something called Church Times. I was reading some articles, being very holy, and I saw the job section, and I clicked on it, and I felt this huge draw, like the only way I could describe it, like a magnet to a big sheet of metal that was being drawn. I kind of spoke to some people in a roundabout way, and 6 months later, it was kind of confirmed that I should go for it. And within 3 years, I've been accepted to become a vicar, and obviously now I am a vicar. And it's a real short time. It was a crazy time, but the reason I am a vicar is because God asked me to, and I responded to that call. Do we work 1 day a week? No, we don't just work Sundays. In fact, we work 6 days a week. We get 1 day off. It can be quite a busy job. It can be busy, but also it's so fruitful. So we don't work 1 day a week. We have 1 day off, but we work 6 days. But actually, I don't mind working 6 days. It's not that bad. What do I do in my day? It can be different. Usually the day starts off not the same. At 9 o'clock we have a morning prayer online, but different days we'll do different things. On a Tuesday I'll mainly have meetings with staff and with other people. Wednesdays is usually quite free for me to do stuff, maybe visit some people, or if we've got funerals, or just getting out to go and run errands. Thursday we have different events on that we do as a church. Friday, I come into church at 12 o'clock to be here and present, so people can come see me. Friday as well, on a Friday morning, I have a study morning, so I can sit down and read. But there's many different things. People can come and see me, speak about problems. There's a lot of planning. It could be that I'm getting ready for a service, writing a sermon. So there's the stuff that is very much office-based at my desk, and the stuff that very much going out, the stuff that's very open, and the stuff that's very, very confidential as well. So, but mainly it's really a combination of dealing with people, being in their lives, and also just being by yourself at a desk. So what's my favourite part of the job? This is really difficult. There's so many different aspects, and it's so varied that you're just doing different things that you can love at the same time. But I think one of the things that I get a lot out of, which is one of the things that I was so worried about doing when I first became a vicar, was funerals, because of the death. Well, I came to faith through the death of my parents. They were 20 years apart, but my dad died when I was 14, my mum when I was 33. And I thought I would hate funerals, but actually, because of my experience of what I went through, I can go into a family situation and understand and really try to help them. So, and it's something that I appreciate, and yet it's such sadness at the time, but it's something that I feel that, through what's happened to me, I can help people, and it's not something I want to do all the time, because obviously you don't want people to lose their loved ones, but when that does happen, I can go and help them. But there's also the great things as well. I love taking services. I love preaching. I love taking services, and assemblies are always good fun with the kids. And one time I went from an assembly, and 10 minutes later I was doing a funeral, and that was very different. So because there's so many different aspects and contexts to this job, there are different things, but I think funeral ministry will probably be the one that I treasure most. The question that kids always ask is how I became a Christian, and it's always a difficult one to answer for me. As I said before, I came to faith through the death of my parents, and the kids there are between 4 and 11 years old, so it's how to answer it, but it is the way it is. And I talk about how I didn't believe in a God, that I was an atheist, and I didn't want to become a Christian or a vicar, and yet I looked at the truth, and I became, and I started to believe, and my life is so blessed, and I'm so happy in what I do, and trying to speak to them about the hope that I now have, and the surety that I have that Jesus is real, in a language it's so complex, this question, but to adults it's easy. I became a Christian through the death of my parents, and I didn't want to become a Christian. I was trying to push Christianity away, in a sense, and in fact I got a video here that explains it rather than me do it now, but I ended up becoming a Christian. I do joke at funerals as well, it's the most spectacular fail in my life. I didn't want to become a Christian, I ended up being a vicar. It's a funny question, but what do I do on my day off? Once they find out that I have a day off, they ask, what do you do? I just try to relax, really. Try to not think about anything about church. I still have my spiritual life. I'll still pray. I'll still do those things. But if the weather's good, well, usually I go for a long run. Monday, I'll try to go for a long run, at least do 10K, if I'm fit and if I want to. Try to get out on my motorbike, and I'm also planning this year to do more, like go visit places. My wife works on a Monday, and my kids are at school, so to take advantage of time to go and do stuff that I normally wouldn't do. But mainly it's about relaxing and trying not to think about work, which is so hard because we're called to do this job, and so I love it. I love this job, and so but you have to switch off. You have to rest. So it's a good question when they ask me, because it helps me to remember rest. Okay, fine, a question for this, but please do ask your own questions down below. More than happy to answer. And I usually answer any questions, and I say that to the kids. Why am I the vicar here? And that's because God called me to be here. I'm obedient to God's calling, and He drew me to apply for this job, and I got it. And I was obedient, and I came here, and I'm obedient in following His call on my life and what He wants me to do here. He knows my gifts and talents. He knows who I am. He knows, all my abilities, and at the moment that's a fit for this place in what He's calling me to do, which is what I do. I come in and grow churches, which is what we should all do, but to engage with our local community, to look at the things that we do and try to make them better. And so the reason that I'm here is God called me here. But what's really important as well is that I followed that call, because we don't always have to say yes, but I wouldn't not say yes to God. And that's the other thing with all this. I'm working for God and with God. I'm working with the Holy Spirit. And isn't that amazing? I'm so blessed. But we all do that in our own different ways. But He's called me to a unique role, and that is truly amazing to be able to serve in this church. So there we go. There's my questions answered. If, like I said, if you want to ask your own questions about what I do, just put them in the comments below, and I'll gather them up and do another video like this in the future. And remember, head over to my other channels, Fulfilling Life and Revved Up. Subscribe to those. They are obviously very good and very edifying for you. And I will see you all soon. Bye.